Attorney General William Barr said publicly today that he believes U.S. intelligence agencies spied on President Trump's 2016 campaign. He also said that he's ordered a new review of how the counterintelligence investigation into Russian collusion began. During his second day of congressional testimony, Barr told a Senate panel he wanted to make sure that if surveillance did occur, it followed proper procedures.
I think spying did occur.
Well, let me...
But the question is whether it was adequately predicated. And I'm not suggesting it wasn't adequately predicated, but I'd need to explore that. I'm not talking about the FBI necessarily, but intelligence agencies more broadly.
Barr acknowledged he did not have any specific evidence of wrongdoing. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer later said that Barr needed to retract his statement about the spying or provide evidence to support it. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told the Associated Press she doesn't trust Barr.
I'm very concerned about the statements made by Attorney General Barr. I think that they undermine our Constitution. They undermine the role of the Attorney General. He is not the Attorney General of Donald Trump. He is the Attorney General of the United States.
Barr's review is separate from an ongoing Justice Department Inspector General inquiry into the FBI's handling of the Russia probe. Barr said that he expects those results in May or June. Earlier, as he left the White House, President Trump again insisted that the Mueller investigation was politically motivated.
It was an illegal investigation. It was started illegally. Everything about it was crooked. Every single thing about it. There were dirty cops. These were bad people. This was an attempted coup. This was an attempted takedown of a president.
Barr says that he plans to release a redacted version of Mueller's report to the public next week. President Trump insisted again today that he will not release his income tax returns anytime soon. Today was the deadline congressional Democrats had set for the IRS to turn over 6 years of Mr. Trump's returns. The president told reporters this morning that he would, quote, love to release them, but won't while he is under audit by the IRS. The U.S. Treasury Department, which oversees the IRS, has yet to respond to the request. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will serve a record 5th term after his rival's party conceded defeat. He ran a tight race against his centrist challenger, former military chief Benny Gantz. Netanyahu celebrated his victory with supporters today in Tel Aviv. He will now become Israel's longest-serving leader. And we'll have more on the Israeli election right after the news summary. Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May was in Brussels today, lobbying for another extension on the UK's departure date from the European Union. She told top EU officials that another delay would give her more time to secure a Brexit deal that could pass in Parliament. EU member states held an emergency session to vote on whether or not to grant a second extension. Without one, the UK is set to leave the bloc on this Friday without a deal. We'll have more on the pivotal vote later in the program. New Zealand's parliament has voted to ban most semi-automatic weapons and assault rifles. This comes less than a month after a gunman opened fire on 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch, killing 50 people and wounding dozens more. Today, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern praised a nearly unanimous vote in Wellington.
I could not fathom how weapons that could cause such destruction and large-scale death could have been obtained legally in this country.
The bill is expected to become law on Friday. After that, anyone with a military-style weapon could face up to 5 years in prison. The death toll from a cyclone in southern Africa has now topped 1,000 people. The powerful storm ripped through Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi last month. Crews are still searching for remains of the dead. A cholera outbreak among the cyclone survivors in Mozambique threatens to raise the number of casualties even higher. Back in this country, acting Deputy Homeland Security Secretary Claire Grady has resigned. That paved the way for President Trump's pick, Kevin McAleenan, who's currently the Commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection, to become the acting Secretary of Homeland Security. But this leaves the acting deputy position unfilled, along with other key slots of the department. McAleenan's departure from Customs and Border Protection means that it won't now have a commissioner. And since the acting head of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Ron Vitiello, is stepping down Friday, that agency will have a vacancy at the top as well. It was earlier announced that the head of the Secret Service is also leaving this week. President Trump left open the possibility today of sending additional U.S. troops to the southern border. He made the comment after listening to stories about migrant crossings at a Republican fundraiser in San Antonio, Texas. Some 5,000 active duty and National Guard troops are currently stationed at the border. And Wall Street managed a modest advance today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 6 points to close at 26,157. The Nasdaq rose 55, and the S&P 500 added 10. Still to come on the NewsHour, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu poised to win a historic fifth term. European Union leaders hold an emergency summit to vote on the UK's request for a Brexit extension. The first image ever captured of a black hole, and much more.